I can get us started off. I am taking it over to another game in the SEC just a little earlier in the day. Tennessee and Alabama. I'm taking Dylan Sampson. Now, this is a good line, maybe not Ashton Jeanty-esque, but it's kind of hard to match that. And when you're playing a team like Alabama, even if they're kind of having, a down year, a few down games, 140 yards and 2 touchdowns is still pretty impressive. And, Tennessee did what they needed to do. They played their game, and they beat Alabama at home.
Yep.
We'd been talking about this game a few weeks up until this point, and I think I had mentioned before that I think everybody knew that Tennessee had this one circled on their calendars. This is kind of a dogfight for each of these teams to stay alive. I won't get too into it. We're gonna recap it later, but They did their thing on the ground for sure. Helped out Nico. He didn't have a terrible performance, not a great performance, but obviously this Tennessee's team's identity is on the ground, and they were able to get that done. So I have Dylan Sampson.
I like that pick. I made a TikTok during this game. I said, it was at halftime of this game. I said that Tennessee had started their 3rd straight game scoring 0 points in the first half. That was the first time since, I believe, 1963. Don't quote me on that. Go watch the TikTok if you got the time. Like and subscribe here and there. Sorry, self-plug. But yeah. I also mentioned, Dylan Sampson is the guy in that offense. He is the engine that gets it all moving. And the second half encapsulated that perfectly. They got him going. He started rolling, found the end zone a couple times. Tennessee wins the game.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. No, if it weren't for him, who knows where they would be, honestly. Nico, he's still a young guy. He obviously is making some he's not a freshman, but he's making some freshman-esque mistakes. But with the ground game and the consistency that they're able to run the ball with, it really helps settle that offense down a good little bit. So they were able to do their thing and beat Alabama. And, now they're
alive.
It's all in front of them for the SEC championship, and Alabama is reeling. So hats off to them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll go next. Keeping it in the SEC. Surprise, surprise. Wonder where the bias is coming from there. But anyway, just I got Caden Durham out of the LSU Tigers. I think this is my second dog of the week coming out of LSU, back-to-back weeks. But I didn't even realize this when I picked him. He's a freshman. Little 5'9", 205, sturdy back. But anyway, he was the workhorse against Arkansas. 21 carries, 101 yards, 3 touchdowns with a long of 22. So, didn't really have too many explosive plays, but just, you need 4, 5, 6 yards in a cloud of dust, hand the ball off to Caden and let him take care of business, which is interesting because, as I mentioned last week, LSU has really been relying on the air attack with the gunslinger Garrett Nussmeier, who also had a pretty good day. 233 yards on 34 attempts, 23 of those were completions. Didn't find the end zone, though. So Caden's largest contribution was the 3 touchdowns they had. 3 out of the 34 points they ended up scoring. And then just to show how big of a game this was for Caden, like I mentioned, he had 101 rushing yards in this game. On the season, he has 382.
Wow.
So he had, somewhere between a third and a fourth of his yards in one game. And he also had half of his touchdowns in this one game. So huge game for him. Hopefully he'll continue it on for the rest of the season. But shout out to Hayden. Sorry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think if LSU continues that trend of the ground, they're going to be dangerous. To pair with Nussmeier. He can sling it, obviously.
Yeah.
That's dangerous, and they're one of those teams who is undefeated in the SEC right now.
Yep.
So it is very much in front of them. So
if
they could be very good if they can keep that output going.
Yeah. If they're able to add a play-action game to Nussmeier's throwing ability,
yeah,
watch out.
Do
it's
LSU
dangerous, man.
and Alabama play this year?
Mm-hmm.
I believe they do. That's in a few weeks.
They've got LSU has a bye this Saturday.
Mhm.
No, they don't. They're playing Texas A&M, and then after
Mhm.
that they have a bye, and then they play Alabama.
Okay. That
Yep.
is one to watch for sure.
Oh,
That's a big
Yeah.
one.
In Death Valley.
Ooh,
get
there
into
you
that.
go.
We will definitely get into that.
Yes.
Yes, we will.
Absolutely.
All right. I guess it's my turn. And as Brandon kind of alluded to earlier, this is a Georgia Bulldog, as you can tell by the sweatshirt. Gotta rep the alma mater. Going into the season, we were saying Carson Beck's the guy. Carson Beck's legit. Had a rough game, but the
Don't matter.
heroics of this man saved the team's ass and led to a resounding 30-15 victory. That would be Jalen Walker, the linebacker, defensive end hybrid. He's kind of a jack of all trades for that defense. He absolutely balled out against Texas. Let me pull up his stats quickly. 8 tackles, 3 sacks, and a fumble recovery. And you watch the replay of the game. Number 11 is in on every play, every defensive play for the first half and the second half. The whole fucking game, honestly. The man balled out.
Yep.
Honestly, made himself a shit ton of money probably with how
Absolutely.
he was playing.
Yeah.
I believe there was one play in particular he just straight bull rushed Texas's All-American left tackle, and tied up Quinn Ewers, forced a sack. It was, absolutely incredible play. It's what Georgia has been missing all season, and there you go, first round talent.
Yeah,
Man. I think he definitely did himself a huge favor because looking at the NFL in the past few years, I think draft stock for edge rushers has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, you even seen it a few years ago with a guy out of Georgia by the name of Trayvon Walker, kind of a surprise first overall pick. It just shows you how much the NFL is skewing towards valuing edge rushers who can get after the quarterback and not even, you don't even have to have that big of a sack output, but just get in his face, pressure him, be there, have presence in the backfield. He had a hell of a game.
It's the difference between a good team and a great team.
Yes.
It's your pass rush.
Pass rush.
Absolutely.
Just ask the Falcons.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if he keeps playing like that, he's going to become a lottery pick very soon.
Absolutely.
For sure. All right, cool. Those are our dogs of the week. Let us know in the comments what you think, who you would take as your dog of the week out of the performances this past weekend. A lot of choices to be had. Those are ours, however.